Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us on our podcast, Moms on the Move. I'm Jen Wills.
And I'm Jennifer Sesk.
It's 2022.
Yes.
We're actually like filming this in 2021, so we're pretending it's 2022.
Right.
So
yeah,
we're going to be done with 2021. Start fresh.
And I'm ready. You ready?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like... Yeah. We're right in the middle of the holidays right now.
Yeah.
And it's real crazy. Like, I'm exhausted.
It is. And I think it is for a lot of people for many different reasons.
Right.
A lot of things. So a new year is always nice because we always try to do things a little bit different than the year before, maybe a little bit better. We try to improve a little bit more.
Are you doing any resolutions?
No, I don't believe in them.
I don't either, because I feel like you're just setting yourself up to fail. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it should be, let's get into a new life event. Make it an event, not a resolution.
Yeah.
An event where, whether it's to more self-care or to get more fit or more healthy, great. It needs to be a life event. It needs to be forever and ever and always.
Yeah.
You put yourself first and you take care of your body and your health. So a life event, not a resolution, because resolutions die, and we'll go into that later, but the brain is so wired that about 2 to 3 weeks into a resolution, the old patterns start surfacing and you fall back into those old patterns. And there's a reason for that. But that's why the gyms are so full and then not.
And then not full. Right.
And where people will try to give up smoking and then it just comes back and eats them alive. So there's reasons for that. But a new year is, and I had somebody very close tell me a long time ago, a new year always brings a new beginning if your perspective is there, that you can change and you can be better.
Yeah. I know. I feel like the things I always say I want to work on is more like gratitude journal, just like basic things that I think I keep hearing about that would help me. Writing it out. I remember one night I sat down, wrote out my feelings, and I was like, oh, that was great. And then I was like, oh my God, what if someone sees that? Rip it up.
Yeah. Close it, hide it. It's yours, your business and nobody else's. But the gratitude journal, and it's so old school, and I work with my clients, everybody has to have a gratitude journal because it helps you to keep in the forefront of your mind what you have over what you don't have. And to be grateful for things that you have instead of the focus being on what you don't have, whether it's more money or a partner or, better body, whatever it is that you desire, you keep things in the forefront of what you have in your mind. And it puts you in a better headspace when you wake up and you write those things down. But gratitude is huge, and you can't get anywhere without it. You can't move on in life if you're not thankful for where you are and what you have right now.
Yeah, I feel like that's so important. And it's funny because the other day, I don't know if you remember, my toe was broken for a while.
Yes.
My sweet little angel Bo broke my toe. And so I couldn't work out for 4 months, 3 to 4 months. And I don't think I necessarily gained a lot of weight. I gained some, but short bodies. So I could feel it. And then I remember I was just so upset. And the first time I went running, I was just I wanted to cry. I felt really out of shape. I felt really just heavy for how I normally feel. And then I remember just I was switch it. At least you are able to run. You're able to run. You're able to run.
You're upright.
Yes. So, but that's one of my few moments of positive self-talk.
That's right. Interrupt the thought. Interrupt the negative and replace it with a positive, which they say is easier said than done. True. However, you can. If you can allow the negative to come in and take, space, you can allow the positive to override it. But it takes time, energy, and patience. A lot of things that we don't have these days.
No, we don't.
So in the new year, you, get healthy, eat more whole foods, learn to say no when you need to, learn to say yes when you need to, but find joy in your day. And also, more importantly, make sure that you're surrounding yourself with, what your environment is helping you to grow and not suffocating you and making things hard for change. And that's up to you.
So, boundaries.
Boundaries, your job.
Okay.
Your family, your friends, who you're allowing in your life, because that is what our environment is. It's all of those things. We have to work, we have family, we have people around us, we have friends. make sure that those people are good for you before you decide that you need to make a whole bunch of changes within yourself, because sometimes it's the people on the outside that are assholes that's causing the problem.
So it's not me, it's you.
Sometimes you have to rule that out first, because you can be in a bad work environment, you can be in a bad home environment, you can have not the best of friends. You make up your world however you choose. So it's very important to find joy in your day, and you can't sometimes if you're in a grind or a bad job. And I know we can't just snap our fingers and have what we want. That's not what I'm saying, but you absolutely can make choices and progress forward and write in your journal what you want and better yourself and move out of a position or a job into another one that you deserve that serves you.
Yeah. I remember like getting into real estate even. It was I was like scared to tell my family. My dad always talks about that. He's like, I remember when you like sat me down and you were like really nervous to tell me you were making a career change. And I was like, well, I felt like I had established myself so much in like my accounting profession, and that I was essentially throwing it away for something that might not even work out. So I felt like here I was maybe being a little irresponsible, but trying to pursue something that I had wanted to try.
Yeah, that answered the call for you. It's a risk because, it's up to you.
Yeah, when you have a family and kids, it's like scary to put yourself in a risky situation because you want to be stable and provide for your family. So a lot of times people hold on to what they know.
Mm-hmm. And it's not, you don't just go and clock in. It is up to you how you handle this, your knowledge, your personality. All of it comes into play with real estate. Mm-hmm. You have to be the whole package. And it's a lot on you. You just can't go in and just earn the money.
No. I do remember like the first, like when we sold our house, and I thought, oh my God, what did he just do to sell our house? Because we tried to do a for sale by owner. This is prior to me getting into real estate. So we did like for sale by owner. It did not work. And literally, I'm like, all he did was put a sign in the yard. He did one sign in the yard and it sold. Now, once I'm in it, I'm like, guys, a lot of times, like you have no idea what's going on, and it's high stress, high reward, I think. But I'm okay with that. I feel like it's even Steven too. Like I remember someone at work being like, you'll have a really easy transaction and then the next one will be like, you're pulling your hair out.
Well, you're good at it. That's the thing. The nature and life will weed you out if you're not. You'll fall to the wayside. You'll go somewhere else. You go do something else. There's a lot of people that try things that think that's what they want.
Yeah.
And it ends up not being, what they're good at or their dream.
Right.
But you're good at what you do. And I've watched it, and I've had people personally tell me that you do. Oh, so I love that. So how does it answer the call for you? Inside.
Well, I think like my old job was, and I know no one really cares about this, but like, in accounting, I like having the organization. I like things being equal. I like kind of that structure, but I like being in front of people. And I feel like the accounting got super monotonous, whereas this job is not monotonous. It feels very like, I don't want to say project, but it's different every time, so it's more challenging. I like negotiating. I like all of it. So I don't know. I feel like it hits a lot of the things I need to feel that fulfillment. Right. But again, it was scary to start, and that's like the point of bringing all this up. Mm-hmm. Like just
right. It's okay to do it scared.
Do it scared.
Do it
a lot
afraid.
of times that's when you're gonna, making yourself uncomfortable. And I just said this to my son the other day. I was like, you have to make yourself uncomfortable even for a few minutes, because once you get out there, you're fine. Mm-hmm. We were talking about a game, but he gets like all in his head. And I'm like, just for 2 minutes, let yourself go out there, be nervous, be scared, and then you'll be fine.
It's exactly right. And you won't learn about what you want or what you need when things are easy and just...
You don't grow.
You don't. And when things are easy and come to you easy and you just flow in and out, you don't learn a thing about yourself, what you want, what makes you tick, what your triggers are, and you absolutely don't grow. Mm-hmm. So when we go into this new year, if you're unhappy with your job and it doesn't bring you the things or, check off the boxes, look into another one while you're there. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not stuck. You're not a tree. We can move around. I know a lot of us feel stuck, and this pandemic has done a lot of things to us as well, but we can. And write in your journal, write down what you desire and what you want. Watch into this new year who you surround yourself with. Who are the people around you? Even family.
That's such a tricky one.
I know.
It really is.
I know. And
I know so many people with toxic relationships, but it's so hard to disengage because then you feel like you're the bad person and like maybe they don't deserve it. You know, if you're, this is absolutely not to my mother-in-law. You know, I adore my mother-in-law. Helen, I love you. So if, you hear a lot of times like daughter-in-laws that don't get along with their mother-in-law, for example. And, that's just one example, though, of how do you possibly put that boundary up? How is it, you start telling yourself, how is it fair to put a boundary up and not let the grandparents see the children? Like, what do boundaries even look like?
Boundaries is communication with the other person as best as you can, and also loving yourself and figuring out the balance between letting that person in and keeping them arm's length. It's not an easy thing. Boundaries aren't easy, but they're essential in life. And too many times we let people step over and say and do things that they shouldn't be allowed to do. And when that happens and you see that red flag, I don't care who it is, that's when you speak up right in the moment when it happens. You don't have to be confrontational. You can just say, my goodness, where did that come from? That kind of stabbed me in the heart. Are you okay? Put it back on the other person. You start immediately with addressing someone's behavior, they're much less likely to do it the next time. But if you don't do it, then they're testing the waters and they will
like a toddler.
They will continue to do whatever you tolerate. Period. End of story.
Wow. It's just, I know. And it's so funny. I feel like coming from New Jersey, I used to be super like outspoken. And then I kind of, once I became a mom, just became more like aware of like, I don't want to ruffle these feathers. I'm in this business. I don't want to necessarily like say something because you never know if like someone's going to go talk to her and say, well, what a bitch she is or whatever. So I feel like a lot of times I'm like holding it in more. But I think you just said it perfectly. Like in the moment though.
In the moment. Because if you try to bring it back later, they may not even know they did it. They won't even remember it.
Or you end up looking more
and then you look like a petty person,
Yes.
Why
like, remember the other day when you looked at me like that?
Right. Remember when you said that and the other person's like,
I feel like get over it.
I didn't mean it like that. I mean, but if you get it right there, and you don't have to be ugly, that's the whole point. What you're essentially doing is you're putting it back in their lap so they have to answer for their behavior or their words. Just put it back nicely. Oh my goodness, are you okay? What in the world made you say that? I did not mean that way. Let's talk about it. They will instantly also start to respect you. You have to have respect.
Yeah.
And you have to respect them as well. But people know when they can trample on you. People know when they can step over that line and they can cross that boundary. They know real quick. They feeling you out real quick. So you be ready. Be ready. Watch for the red flags. I think we would be a much happier world if we just would not tolerate some of the behavior that we tolerate and we stopped it in its tracks.
I feel like especially as women, honestly. Because
Absolutely.
a lot of times we feel like we can't get away with saying the things that a man might be able to say. And I'm not like going all feminist on us, but there has been even a few times there was one instance in real estate, and I'm not going to obviously name any names, but I found out at the closing table that the other agent was getting a whole percentage more than me. And I spoke up. And he called my broker and said the audacity of her trying to speak up. And I remember thinking to my husband, I told my husband, I said, the audacity of him questioning what I deserve. Like if I was a guy, he would have probably addressed me and not gone and told my broker.
Yeah, how dare you ask a question?
Yes, it felt very like, little woman, and I felt it like in my gut. And so that was interesting.
Yeah. Always speak up. Always stand for yourself.
Even if it doesn't work out like that, I still didn't get my percent.
Exactly.
No, I didn't get it, but it's okay.
It doesn't matter.
It's okay. I did speak up.
Yeah, but you did what you need to do for you, which was, stand up and know your self-worth. That's where a lot of it comes from. A lot of people don't understand their self-worth and know that they're amazing and know that they're worth it and that you can stand up and say whatever it is you need to say. Even if you don't get what you want, you still stood up for yourself. And that's the only person you answer to is you, really, in the end. You have to like you and love you and believe in you. And if you cower or you don't stand up, then at the end of the day, you're not going to trust yourself. And it just gets worse and worse. So always stand up for yourself. Always have boundaries and know your self-worth. They can be if the person's just not getting it.
Okay.
Then you may have to have a conversation. But sometimes you can just quietly behind the scenes do that, like not answer the phone. Or if there's a text, you can do a one-word text back. You can guide how long you'll be on the phone with someone by saying, listen, I've got 5 minutes. Let's go over this real quick so that they can't keep you on for 15, 20, 25, because that's a boundary too, where you're trying to, you got to get on with your day and there's people that suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
So, there's many different ways to establish a boundary. Not tolerating it is the first one. Just for instance, if you have a parent, and you're a grown child, and you're grown, and you have a parent that still wants you to do whatever it is they want you to do. I've had a few clients where the parents mean well, but they want them to do what they want to do. And that's crossing a major line there, because you are an adult. You're trying to figure out what you need, what's best for you. And if you always have that noise of somebody else wanting what they want for you, you will not be able to figure it out. So when that happens, I literally had a client where they don't live in the same state. Mm-hmm. So when the mother would get on the phone and start in on that, I had a narrative for her to get off of the phone immediately. And when the mom would try to keep her on the phone, she'd go, Mom, this is not something we're going to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and go. I love you. Talk to you later.
Yep.
And if you do that enough times, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be a coworker, a friend, a neighbor. It doesn't matter. If it's anybody that's just crossing over that line, you have to stop it. And if you do it enough times, they will quit.
Yeah.
They will quit pushing and quit trying. And if they don't, then you need to get them out of your life completely, because they're not respecting you.
So in other relationships, I know a lot of times you'll post about narcissists. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, that's a big one. And before I even get started on that, if there's anybody out there that is a therapist or a psychologist that is really informed on narcissism and a diagnosed narcissist, I want to have them on the podcast, because I have so many clients that are victims of a narcissist. And narcissist is a personality disorder that has to be diagnosed for one. So you don't just throw the word around. Yeah, and it is thrown around a lot.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Narcissism is serious, and it's a personality disorder. Well, can they help it? I think what I've learned, or what I've been told, is that you're born a certain way. We all are. We're all wired a certain way. So you can come out kind of a little bit of, have some narcissistic traits or qualities to you, and which is the world's all about you, and you're it's everything is about you is the way they come out. And so they come out a certain way, and then the environment around them caters to them without realizing they're doing it. Mm-hmm. And so that just makes...
Is it it's manipulative?
They're manipulative. They lie. They blame. They never take accountability. They make you feel like you're crazy. They'll say things, and then when you try to bring it up, like I was talking about boundaries, they will make you think they didn't say it that way, or you heard it wrong, or you took it wrong. They
you're overreacting.
Right, you're overreacting. You're crazy. Mm-hmm. There's no way that I would do that. They will never be accountable for their behavior or their words and what they do. And a big characteristic is they blame everybody else. Mm-hmm. It's never, ever their fault. And if you are a victim of a true narcissist, there's many people that have narcissistic traits. That's different.
Right.
But a true narcissist will literally destroy you from the inside out. And I have clients that have a mother that's a narcissist, a sibling, a boyfriend, a fiance, a married partner. And once you get into the grips of one, it is very difficult to get out.
Is it like a form of abuse, essentially?
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's emotional and verbal abuse. Because they say things over and over again, almost to the point, for most, that they start to believe it. Wow. Because if you're hearing it from the person that says they love you or care about you, and it's usually people that are major in your life, like a parent, sibling, boyfriend, girlfriend, even friends, yeah, you will believe them. And so what they're single-handedly doing is chipping away at your self-esteem until you are a shell of a person. They will isolate you from family and friends. They will make you think that they're lucky to have you, that nobody else wants you. And the very interesting, and people go, well, why would anybody stay?
Do you mean they're lucky to have you? You mean you're lucky to have them?
Yeah, the narc says you're so lucky to have me. Okay, nobody else is going to want you. Did I say it wrong? Yeah. So they'll make you think that nobody else out there is going to want you for A, B, C, and D. And people will go, well, why in the world would somebody stay like that? Oh, that's crazy. I would never be with some. Yeah, you would, because you don't know it's happening. I call it the slow drip. I have a lot of clients that feel so bad about themselves because they put up with it. You don't know that you're in it until you're almost drowning. So I call it the slow drip, where and watch for this. This is a red flag. When somebody comes into your life, whether it be a friend or family is hard to do. It's a little different dynamic, but you can stop friendships and relationships when they come in and they swoon in and they're everything you could want. They do everything right, and they immediately get into where you're everything. I want to get married. I want to have babies with you. Let's get married next month. And you're just...
So it's like too good to be true.
Yeah. Like they are just... And they know what you want. They figure it out real quick, and they make sure you get all of that. And you're just love bombed to death. And you think, oh my God, I found the person. That's one. Another thing is that they'll want to get you married quickly. Because once you're married, they got you. And then you will watch the personality flips and the slow drip begins. And it'll be one thing that they'll do. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, why are they acting like that? And that you'll brush it off as to one reason or another. Bad day at work, stressful this, maybe it's me, whatever. And then they'll do something again, and then they up the ante, and it goes on and on and on. And they also, while they're doing this, they're single-handedly breaking you down ever so quietly, making you feel like you're less than. Another thing that's a big red flag is you will never, ever, I don't care what you do, feel good enough for that person.
Okay.
Ever. And if you have to wonder if you mean something to that person, get out. You will never have to wonder how much you mean to someone if you mean something to that person.
Right.
Ever. Get out.
So do narcissists actually feel something, or is it fake? Is it self-serving? Or?
It's all self-serving. Everything they do, when their lips are moving, it's all about them. It's all about them. So they can even act like they care just to get what they want. They will do whatever they can to get that apology out of you, even though they're the ones that started it. They're the ones that caused it. Okay. A lot of clients I have are always backed against the wall, finally just say sorry to get it to stop, because they will never be accountable for their behavior. Narcissists fear exposure because they have a really good outward appearance. Like it's real important what they look like to the public and to the outside world. So they are very afraid of having no money, and they are very afraid of being exposed. So if you tried to take a narc, because you know something's wrong, in the relationship, this doesn't feel right. So you go to counseling, right? You can go maybe 2 times and the narcissist is out. And the reason why is because that therapist is, they don't like me. They're taking your side. They're full of crap. They don't know what we're dealing with. because the therapist is going to get it narrowed down and make them accountable for their behavior. Well, they're not going to have that.
Mm-hmm.
It will never happen. So you may get them in the door, but then they're going to have a reason why, and they're going to blame as to why they can't stay there. So they're afraid of exposure. Another thing about narcissists I've seen it, you can even do the research, but they are serial cheaters, or they live above their means and they are in major debt, or both.
Okay.
That's another thing that I've noticed with clients, and it's devastating. It's devastating because you have no idea this monster that you're living with,
right,
until it's too late. And
I feel like we just touched on that divorce one. And if people didn't tune into that, I feel like that was a really important one, because I don't want people to think like, oh, my relationship's so great, so I'm not going to listen to that. It was almost like a what to do to give you, and I don't want to say the word power, I mean an equal playing field. So you're never in a situation that you say, wait, what? What was I living with? Why didn't I know this? It's basically just making sure you have access to like the financial stuff, so you do see what's going on. Because if the husband or wife doesn't want you to have access, that's red flag number one.
Mm-hmm. And they hide things. Yeah,
and just tracking down, what could be going on. And I know relationships are all about trust, but when Jennifer Mann was here, it was very eye-opening what the reality could look like if they turn their head.
Mm-hmm. And you said it in the quote and on our Facebook page, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
In every way.
And again, I don't mean power like over the other person, but just to be like an equal.
Mm-hmm.
It's important.
You need to know.
Yeah.
That's why we do these podcasts, is so that you are informed and you might learn something that you never knew was even out there or available, or a support system that's there.
Yeah.
That's why we do these.
I know.
So we covered, yes, eat better, do your thing, move your body. That's a whole nother podcast or a day. Find a job that fills your cup. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect, just like a relationship isn't. No job is ever perfect. But let it feed you a little bit.
Yes.
And look for another why you're in that one if you're not happy. Don't feel like you're stuck. And then look out for your family and friends. Look out for who's around you. Establish boundaries where they need to be. And your life and your year will be so much better, and you'll be more at peace.
Yeah.
And you will like you because you're standing up for you and you're filling that cup and you're answering the call inside of you. It's so important.
I love what you said when you just said, like, address the situation in the situation earlier.
Yeah. And that takes it takes courage to do that, because if you're not used to saying things, and also we're open-minded, very open-minded women, so we tend to not react to every single thing that somebody may do or say. So you can kind of let things go, but when you need to step in. You
when something crossed a line.
Right. You feel it in your gut, and that's your God-given compass. And I've talked about that before when I was on the podcast a year ago. You've got that God-given compass. When it starts to wave at you, you know when to step in. But having an open mind is a compassionate thing. It's a forgiving thing. And we've got that. And a lot of women do. But we tend to let it go too far. Yeah. Stop it. If you feel like they've stepped over the line, stop it right there and earn that respect, create that boundary, know your worth, and you will have a better year.
So cheers to 2022.
Yes.
Yes. We want to thank everybody for supporting us and listening, and we are excited for what's to come this year. So thanks for doing this with me.
I enjoy it
and your wisdom.
Every time.
I didn't offer much to this podcast.
Yeah.
That's why I have a life coach next to me. Anyway, we want to thank you, and we want to thank our supporters truly from the bottom of our heart. Leisa Johnson with Fairway Mortgage, Nest Realty. We want to thank Bodyworks, Parham Smith, Archenhold, Blackacre Law, Southern Girl Chic for dressing us, and also Penny Posies for our floral arrangements. So thank you, everybody.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And let's have a good 2022.
That's right. Let's get it going.
Bye, everyone.